Good morning, everybody. I know as Malaysians, we are always delayed, and then the reason is traffic and all that stuff. Okay, so anyway, doesn't matter. Welcome. I know there are a lot more coming on their way. This is something new. We call it the real estate scoop with Soma. And so the whole idea behind this scoop is when you talk about scoop means you get some information, you get some facts and share with everybody on what's going on. Today in the real estate market, what's happening is there are announcements made, there are statements made, there are court cases that happens, but you only read it and then a few of them will get together and a big commotion happens. Hey, what happened? Hey, what happened? But nobody understands what is the cause and effect. If we were to do this, what's going to happen? And what is the learning for each and every one of us? Because every one of us are afraid to talk about these kind of things. I'm 37 years in the profession. I've been involved in associations for a long time. Whenever we talk about sensitive issue, hey, don't talk lah. Don't after people will get sensitive. So the whole idea about this program is that we will openly talk. We're not trying to put anybody down, but suggestions will be given responsibly. So whoever is going to listen, and if you think that is something good that can happen, please do. I know real estate people are sometimes we've got a very short fuse. We make statements and it affects us in many ways. So what I'm going to do in this real estate scoop is I'm trying to follow what Farid Zakaria does on CNN. If you follow him, I think he comes on Sundays afternoon. So what he does is he will come and talk about a couple of things. So I want to talk about what are the couple of issues that has happened over the last month. Okay, and then we have got a guest whom I've invited. We will invite speakers every month, and we will then ask questions which may be of help. Now listen, these kind of things happens in MAREC convention, other conventions and meetings and so on and so forth, but you only do that once a year. After 1 year, you don't know what the hell goes on. Okay, example. Okay, let me just throw this. I was not supposed to mention that. Do you know there was an estate agent who was taken to court? I believe it's a $30 million property, and he went and marketed at 60 million, and then complaint went to the court. I don't want to mention who it is, and then big hoo-ha, and the judge called him a fraudster. You know how serious it is? You know what is the implication on us? But nobody talk about it. It's now very quiet already. Malaysians are very forgetful people, right? But what effect does it have on us? So this is what I'm trying to say, that we must talk about these issues. And you know that me, I'm never afraid of issues, but I'm not here to put anybody down. My first love is my profession. I think all of you are here to support me on this. So I hope there can be some learning by the end of the day. It'll be 45 minutes chat for the entire period, okay? So I already mentioned to you what is scoop. There was a quote that I was reading, and I thought I should share this with you. The quote is, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. Actually, all of us are dancing in the rain, Big turmoil, isn't it, in our profession? Undercutting law, illegal brokers law, legislation law, and all this. So much of storm, but a lot of us have learned how to dance in the rain, but a lot of them have not learned yet. So hopefully we will can learn how to dance in the rain, okay? So, what are the current issues? Okay, can we look at the property market update? I thought this is important because do you know how did it perform in the first quarter of 2024? Okay? When I go around asking, and I went for RRP, and I asked them, how's the market? Bad lah. Market bad lah. You're terrible lah. Just because they're not doing well, overall the market is bad. So when you look at the performance of the property market 2023 first quarter, January, February, March. 2024 first quarter, we did from 89,000 transactions, we did 104 transactions. 89,000 to 104. Did we do well? We did well. So why are we telling that market is not good? Why aren't agents, registered agents or principals tell the negotiators the market is good? So this is important, okay? And then the value from 56 billion, we did 56 billion from 42 billion. How much is 3%? A lot of money. That's a fee that we can earn. Of course, this includes government transaction, it includes illegal brokers transaction, it includes house owners transaction, including developers transaction. But 60%, we already mentioned this, 60% of this transaction is done by estate agents. So there's a lot of money that needs to be made. Of course, a lot of us don't handle 89,000 transactions. We just need to do one. People like Govin go there and do one transaction and he's already made it for the year. The big guys all do that. The small guys may need to sell a lot more. We want to welcome Tina, past president. Welcome. So this is what's happening in the market. So please take this as a reference. And the beautiful thing about this is, if you look at the volume by subsector, residential we did 60%. That means out of the entire transaction, 62,000 transactions was residential, followed by agriculture, and then commercial, and then industrial, and then development land. So whoever is in that sector, it is doing well, especially residential. So don't complain, residential market, we are not doing well. Okay? Those who are doing industrial also, I'm aware, they are all doing very well because there's a big surge in industrial. I know some agents here went and showed some property yesterday also for industrial clients. Okay? So I just want to give this update to you, so at least you know that when you go out there, that you will be able to represent the profession, giving them the right information, accurate information. Okay, so then let's move on. The next topic that I want to talk about is the change of name. That's okay, we'll move on to the next one. The name was changed recently, circular came out from CDP to what? Anybody know? RRP, right? You go and talk to negotiators, they still talk about CDP. So, basic information to the whole world, no more CDP. It's called RRP. RRP means Rent Renewal Program. It sounds good, but I personally was responsible at that time when EAPC committee was developing this education program for rents. I remembered we recommended CPD. So it was said, no, cannot. CPD only for REAs. CDP is for rent. Okay, fine. Now they bring it down further to RRP. You go to anywhere in the world, and this is my point. You go to anywhere in the world, there's no RRP. Education program is education program. So I don't know what is the reason. I heard someone from some association suggested it, but I think maybe it's time for us to think about this very carefully. We've been running CDP for the last since 2014. 2013, end of 13 to onwards. Suddenly we changed his name. Everybody, so maybe we should be a little bit more cautious when we do this. And then CDP already in the minds and hearts of everybody. Now you can say RRP. Even I was also finding difficult. RRP. Okay, so okay, never mind. Then the more important point that has happened, I think just a couple of days ago. Are you all aware that deregistration of firms, REAs and PS has happened? Deregistration means to negotiators, your name is in a register, and then because you're not compliant with some of the requirements, your name has been removed from the register. Means like if my name is removed from the register, if I'm running a company, I cannot run the company firm already. So it's a very serious thing. So, but the numbers are alarming. All right. Firms 80 real estate firms have been shut down. 137 REAs, no more operating. 344 probationary estate agents. Alarming. I was shocked. Now, I'm not putting blame on anybody. Now, please remember, I'm not complaining. I'm just bringing to our awareness that if this happens, what's happening in the profession? Example, 344 PAs is roughly 10% of the total number of PAs in the profession. I mean, 10% already wiped out. No, they cannot become REAs technically. Of course, now they must go and appeal and pay money and fodder over again and all that stuff. So the circular says you have to do that. So the implication is tremendous in the long run. Because the number of SA agents in the country, just for your information, I don't have the exact figures. I think it's around 3,000 REAs. 3,000 REAs, around 3,000 PAs. So we have grown to 3,000 since 1981. 81, we are around 900 REAs. So the numbers are very small. And if further they decline, that's why the question I'm going to ask the speaker afterwards, are we progressing or are we digressing? Not fault of anybody. I think as far as the board is concerned, the law very clearly says, if you don't pay your renewal fee, if you don't submit all those forms, end of the day, can you put that circular? If you don't do that, then what happens is you will be deregistered. Okay, that's another thing. So I'm asking this question. Who is going to take responsibility about this? Is there anybody going to take responsibility? Associations? So many associations. Are you all concerned? I think we should. Maybe next year, we should not let this happen. Maybe set up a committee, a bureau, charge them a fee. I'll do this all for you, because a lot of people do not do bankruptcy search and all. I don't blame them. Maybe we should find a way to help so that not so many REAs and PAs can be registered. 80 firms deregistered, I understand. Because I believe a lot of them have closed down their shops, small firms, they join big firms. Or they are now say, I don't operate anymore, I'm already too old. Some have already kicked the bucket, so they're not there anymore. I understand that. But again, if 80 real estate firms shut down, and most of them, let's say, are small firms, there's also some thinking, isn't it? Why so many small firms close down? So are we going to see another 40, 50 real estate firms going to close down next year? I'm told we have roughly around 1,000. Again, no hard facts, but over the years we have collected, I think 1,400 or 1,300 real estate firms. 80 closed down. So these are important thinking, because we're all going around doing our real estate thing, but we really are not involved in how we're going to lead the profession, which afterwards I'm going to ask some questions. A lot of you are very senior. You look at the back there, some very senior agents. I think 1991 all became REAs. 1981 REAs already, without having to sit for exam also, right, at that time. And they also tired. All are tired, enough lah. So how do we create a new vigor? So I hope this talk will help you think about this. And I think we need to do something. We need to put some pressure, maybe on association. Seriously, what are associations doing? I'm going to ask this question to all the associations. What are they doing? Every year got activity. Okay, but what are the accomplishments? Of course, you got your events and all that. But is it helping people like this? I think this is something we need to look at. I'm not again complaining, because different year we got different president and all that stuff. But I think it's time we rise up to this and do something about it. Okay, I'm just trying to open your eyes and your ears to see what we can do. Okay, very good question. This one I just got it 2 days yesterday. Can a sole proprietor set up a branch?
Can.
Huh?
Of course can.
Can a sole proprietor set up a branch or not?
Can.
I got a shock of my wife and I heard can.
Can.
They asked, so I didn't know.
Can.
I myself didn't know. So basically, I think a lot of you also don't know. Correct or not? So this is good information, all you out there sole proprietors, go and set out your branch. But there are procedures. Please call the board and see how it has to be done. Because this is a big opportunity for you to expand. Okay? So apparently there are many firms that's already set up the companies in other countries. The speaker for the day. Can we all give a big round of applause and welcome Ms. Chan Ai Cheng, the immediate past president of MIEA. Do I need to introduce her? No need. I think most of you know her. But I will ask her to introduce herself. Why did I invite her? Because the first topic is about where the market is heading. When real estate started, when I started in 1987, she already was exposed to real estate as a young, teeny weeny girl. They may use that. So, can you tell us your story? Because there are a lot of people here, young and old. Just tell your story, how you got started, what happened in your early life, why you went to study valuation, New Zealand, and all that stuff. Just a quick one.
Okay. Thank you very much, Soma. I'm so honored to be the first guest on your real estate scoop with Soma. Yeah, thank you very much for this honor and also this privilege to share. Yeah, my history went back quite way back. I know Soma when I was a kid, really, literally running around. Because he was working alongside my dad, Charlie Chan, who was in the business for many years lah. So I think my interest in real estate started is because of him. Yeah, I think my dad was the icon for me. He was the inspiration. He was the role model, you would say. Yeah, to direct me in the path of real estate. So I've always thought real estate was very interesting. But as a child, I will follow him around lah. You know what he'll do? I think this is child labor. I don't know whether we're allowed to say this or not. But when in the younger days, I would help him clean up properties also. Yeah. I would. Then we would we get the property ready, we'll make it in good condition so that when the buyers come, they'll be impressed, right? So I used to do that as well. And I also helped him did those leaflet distribution those days, flyers and all that. Yeah, all that as well. And then when buyers and all that were coming, he always told me, don't say anything, just stand in the corner there. Okay. So we just stood in the corner there and observed lah. But what I really like about real estate is that every property we see is so special. It has its own unique points. Some of them are so beautiful. You always wish that, one day I'm going to live in one of those, right? And then the people that he met, the buyers, the sellers, the landlord and tenants, right? They become lifelong friends. Yeah, I think that's something that the real estate business offers us that a lot of business may not. The opportunity to see beautiful things, number one. The opportunity to make lifelong connections and relationship with these buyers and sellers, and ongoing business throughout our life. Because we've journeyed with the buyers and sellers, right? So when they do better in life, they find you again. Hey, I want to find a new property. Can you help me rent this out? Or when they don't do so well, they also come and look for us and say, do you think you can help me offload this? I really need to do this fast so that I can solve my whatever situation I'm facing and maybe rent first before I buy again. So we become very much a part of the lives of the buyers, sellers, landlord, tenants. And I think that is something they always say money cannot buy lah. It's the relationship, it's the connection, it's the feeling that you have done that bit lah for that guy and make his life that much better lah. Yeah, that's basically the bit of it. Yeah.
So from then you went to study in New Zealand, right?
Yes, I did.
Valuation.
Yeah, okay. So the degree name is called Bachelors of Property. So I know it's usually not a very typical degree that people do. They do estate management and all that. But this degree was called Bachelors of Property. So it covers valuation, it covers construction, it covers planning, it does property law, property financing, all sorts lah. Property management also involved. So, and I was fortunate that when I did that course, I think the year that I graduated, the board also recognized the course as accredited. So thanks to the board's accreditation, I only need to do 1 year of work diary and then attend the TPC, do my task 1, task 2, and got my registration.
Okay. So now you have been involved in real estate how many years now?
Oh, yo. I think I joined my dad in 1999.
So that's a long time, okay? So what have you seen? What are the changes? I mean, there are so many things. What are the things you have seen that has changed tremendously that affects the operation of a real estate firm and the profession as a whole?
Okay, when I first started real estate 25 years ago, of course, I think the biggest change we didn't have was ways lah. I always felt. I don't know how I used to get from point A to point B. It was the map. Literally. The book, the maps we used to buy, open up, find roughly how to go, and we went that way. So even that in itself, with Waze, it has already shortcut so many things already. And then we didn't even have Google Maps, the mapping system that now you can just see roughly where's the property, see the rooftop, see the street view and all this, how to walk there and all that. We didn't have any of that also. So I think doing real estate business 25 years ago and today is very, actually quite challenging in the early days, quite challenging. And then on top of that, fortunately when I started, cell phone was already invented lah. I was told that my manager at the time, Ann Fu, they use public phone, office phone to connect. So I think that has also changed a lot. And there was no SMS yet, when I started real estate. I think 1-2 years later, the SMS came about. And then WhatsApp, of course, is the last, it's the latest one in the last 10, 12, 15 years. So there were a lot of things that we didn't have that we have today. So we did real estate business very differently. We didn't even have iProperty back in 1999. There was no such thing. There's no iProperty, there's no property guru, there's no transacted data available to us. There was actually very limited. Malay Mail was before me. I think in the 80s was Malay Mail. And then when I came into real estate, it was the Star. So if you wanted to advertise in the Star, then you sure can get inquiries from there. But that's all we had. We only had our own leg to walk the streets. We only had our word of mouth and database to connect with. And we only had the Star. We had no social media, no property portals, nothing.
Yeah. Interestingly, there are agents still advertising in the Star.
Yeah, perhaps
still advertising. Got calls or not? Got calls or not? See, you advertise in the Star, still got calls. We don't do that anymore, right? So anyway, there's a new thing you learn. Try the Star. There are 20 people reading that. Maybe one of them a prospective buyer. So okay, you have seen all that. Then you were in the association in MIEA. Then you became the president. You were at that level where you saw the whole thing, and then you're also at the board level. So after having gone through all this, what is actually in your mind is stopping, or is the real estate profession really growing or not? Now, be honest with me. I think we need to be honest about this.
Okay. So in 1999, when I started real estate, there weren't many real estate firms. I think very, very few lah. I mean, there were a couple of big names, and then there were some smaller firms and all that. But there weren't many, in a way you can say, competitive real estate firms, right? But then, of course, from 1999 until today, you can see that, wow, the number of firms and the diversity of it, and the number of negotiators also have expanded tremendously. Because the early days, really, not many negotiators, not many agents, right? So I can see that there's a progression. At least we know we're growing in numbers. We may not be growing as much as we hope to, but I think we are still growing. We are a growing profession. I think in a constant growth process. Yeah. So I think that's one thing I can observe. The second thing I've observed is becoming very competitive. That means in the early days, the firms can sit back, relax, okay, whoever wants to join, up to you. But now the pitch is different. The negotiators will come to you and say, okay, what are you going to offer me? What can you give me that's different from A, B, C?
They interview you.
It's kind of like that. So, but in the early days, it was like, okay, there was only so many firms. You join any one of them. And when you join them, you don't want to leave them because you don't know whether the next firm will take you, right? But I think today that equation has completely turned around. If today I'm not happy as a real estate negotiator in a firm, and if the firm doesn't improve, I have other options. Right? So that makes the firms all compete in a different level. They compete on providing better services to rents. So I always believe that competition is actually a good thing, right? Because if a monopoly business is not a good thing, then everybody have no choice, I are good or no good, they are stuck there, right? But if it's competitive, then of course, everyone hopes to improve lah. But also with competition comes the struggles lah. Some people grew way too, exponentially, whereas the others did not grow at the same speed, and then they kind of have the competition, instead of becoming healthy, has become somewhat inward looking lah. You against me, me against you, that kind of thing, instead of a more complete overall view of the market. Yeah.
Okay. So when I was thinking of the subject, I was thinking how should I approach this? So I based four components. How real estate is operated at a broader level. So number one is the profession as a whole. What's happening as a profession affects the firms, affects the individual agents, infects the rent. So I am saying that the profession is in a free fall situation. I'm trying to be challenging, so you can disagree with me. In a free fall situation, the firms is another important component, because the firm is the entity which is dependent on the REA or the shareholders, and in most cases now, I think most of them are running on an automated, in an automated fashion. The boss doesn't come, the rents go, they do their own thing, especially the older firms. Not much time and effort is being placed. And maybe the REAs have left it to the RENs to run. So it is running on that mode. Third one is, of course, is the rent. The rent is actually playing such an important role in the real estate profession, because without them, we won't be able to do all this. So the rent, I say, is a torchbearer, and is now, they're so independent. You don't need to teach them. They can go to the internet. They can see how to do prospecting, how to do Canva, how to use Canva, and how to do TikTok. Don't know how to use TikTok. 5 days later, they become TikTok experts. Some of them here got 100,000 followers. Okay, so they do that. So my question is, if you take these four as the main component, where is our weakest point?
That means you're talking about whether because the first thing you mentioned, whether we're in free fall mode, right?
Yeah.
The profession, whether in free fall mode, right? I think that is tying up probably with regulation, compliances, I believe.
Okay.
That's why you mentioned that it's like a free fall, because it feels like there's no one, tightening the way that we do our business, maybe to that certain extent. So of all these, I feel I cannot pinpoint on one. I feel it's a combination of many things that make a real estate organization work, or the real estate profession itself work. And I think the first thing is come down to is ethics in the business. In everything that we do, be it real co-agent to co-agent relationship, be it our relationship with the buyers and sellers, landlord and tenant, I think the fundamental of the business is the ethics. Because if everybody was complies to certain rules, or they are under the ambit of certain boundaries, then I think the profession will be well run. But sometimes we try to take unfair advantage of another person. So we try to be a little bit tricky. We say, hey, it's not technically wrong, but I think I can skirt the side a little bit. So if everybody talks about skirting the side, that's how the boundaries of right and wrong is slowly blurring. So after a while, when you do it right, you don't even know it's wrong. I didn't even know it's wrong, man, because I saw my seniors and everybody else were doing it. Everybody is pushing the boundaries constantly on what is right and wrong. And they've blurred it so much that sometimes we wonder to ourselves, is it really wrong?
So I would then say that part on the ethics is part of the
Very
profession.
Yes.
But in Malaysia, who respects ethics? Who follows ethics? We've been talking about it, I think, until cows come home. So when it comes to money, we don't want to follow. So what degree, okay, compared to America, NAR, okay? You remember of NAR, if you go and break any of the rules, you don't follow the ethics, immediately action is taken, you're no more real talk. Or the same thing in Australia. In Malaysia, okay, let's leave the enforcement. I don't want to go and touch it at all.
Yes.
So how do we as a firm and as professionals, how can we improve on this so that our profession can grow?
I think the first thing is education. And the second thing is the firm must be brave enough to take action. So I've seen some real estate firm of late, even issues like, I won't mention names of firms, issues like racism and all that. I think some firms really took it up, took a bold stand and said, no, we will not tolerate this. We will suspend this real estate negotiators. I think it starts with that kind of boldness that the firms must take. That means if you know that your real estate negotiator is not following standards or not complying already, I think you have to bite the bullet, have some guts, and just implement action for the betterment of the profession. If everybody got together and did that, I think the profession will improve. It's just like in Australia, right? They have this, of course, they have this Residential Tenancies Act, of course. So they have this list, right, of errant tenants. So if the tenants do not pay their rents on time, either the property managers or the owners themselves could put a little mark on your record. right? So that's why in Australia, you hardly get bad tenants because the moment you're a bad tenant in one place, you can never rent a property in Australia. Go another country and live lah. Because your record is there already, not a good paymaster, let's say. Which landlord want to take the risk and rent to you? With a record like that, right? So if there was a record of real estate negotiators in that same line, where the buyers and sellers can look and see, oh, this agent was a rude one, or ran away with money or something, or something like that, then it will shape up the entire profession because now information is accessible to all. It's not the privilege of a few, right? Of course, we all in the profession, we know which are the good agents, which are less good agents and all that. But how do the public know?
Who should be responsible for this?
Wow, that's a good question, isn't it?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But a lot of people out there will say, don't do lah, I will get in trouble. But being objective and responsible, who should do this?
That's a big question, isn't it? I don't know. It definitely has to be a regulatory body. It has to be in the government. It has to be somewhere there. Otherwise, the enforcement may not be as powerful. Actually, right now, even in the real estate profession itself, the BIS system, we can also use BIS to a certain extent to input information like that. But data is available to agent only and provided the agent actually inputted the data into the BIS system. So in a way, I think it's a start, but we have not really enhanced upon it because we really must put a stop to to malpractices because if a person has malpracticed before, they say that the leopards change their spot?
Cannot change.
So I think if he malpracticed in one firm, you hired him in the next firm, do you think the malpractice stops with that firm?
Yeah, I think many firms, they only got 6 people. If double cheat, never mind, close eye, at least he's bringing in some fee. This kind of attitude we take. So that boils down. Okay, let me bring that subject matter to another level. I'm very concerned. Real estate, we have got so many senior agents.
Okay,
there is a lot of senior agents, and we know what they're doing now. They're all giving up. They all are attaching themselves with other firms. They're not playing a big role in what's happening. And the younger generation is supposed to take over, but even the number of PAs coming to the market is not large enough. How are we going to sort this out? How do we help these agents who are struggling and then they have no choice? They need to go and join bigger firms or give up, close down. That's why when you look at the 80 firms, it is actually connected to that. It's connected to that. Can you imagine 80 firms, you got one REA, how many people they can employ? I was working out 100 over REAs, deregistered, 6,000 over people cannot, no job. If legally follow, 6,000 rands cannot join. So it's so what advice you want to give to the older generation?
Okay, I feel that the real estate profession itself have evolved. From those days, the concept among a lot of PAs is the moment I cannot wait to get my e-license, e-registration, because the moment I want to start up my own company. So I think that phase happened in the 2000 era. Wow, every single guy that was attached to a real estate company, every single PA, the moment he get his E, he set up his own firm. Okay, so that was an evolution. I saw that evolution. It's like practically everybody. They don't want to set up a branch. They want their own name. Wow, they all started little companies. So there were a lot of little companies in the 2000 era. Then after that, one by one, compliances kick in. Oh, some came from the board, some came from other like income tax. It came from all kind of other sources, AMLA and everything. Then all the agents are saying that, hey, I used to really love the business of real estate. I like to meet the buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, but now I'm bogged down with paperwork. Is that the job of an estate agent to do paperwork, compliances, calculating commission payout and all that? So it became a different role altogether. So the joy of being an agent that the PEA and the rent felt when he was doing it, the moment he became a business owner, is two different things. So then the business owner is thinking to himself now, hey, now it looks like I'm not doing real estate anymore. I'm actually servicing the rents and they are telling me I need to support them, this and that. The role has changed. And then the real estate agent, who is the owners, right, they start wondering, actually, what am I doing? So then the what am I doing phase came about in the maybe in the 2010, 2015. 2015 came more aggressively in that year, 2015, 2016, like that. A lot of real estate firms, right, sole proprietors started to think, hey, is this what I want to do? That's about the time, because say all these compliances, I'm not making as much, I'm not meeting as many people as I used to, I'm not getting the connection that I used to enjoy when I was an agent, and said, hey, and then realize that sometimes when they recruit someone, the person leaves, and then he recruits again, and the person leaves again, and recruit. And he said, I'm doing this continuous training, and nobody stays. So then he gets into this zone and said that enough of all that. So that's where a lot of these smaller firms teamed up with bigger firms. So you see the movement of the people, right? Then they started teaming up. They either started opening branches with established name, or they teamed up and said, hey, Namailah, I just joined a bigger firm, let them do all the operation, I go back to doing sales myself. So that evolution took place sometime more rampantly, 2015, 2016, because of GST. One of the reasons was GST. Yeah, and then the next reason was AMLA. And then after that came the MACC and all that. So the real estate agents are saying, no. I think I've lost my first love. My first love was to do the deals, to meet those buyers and sellers, not to do operations and management, right? So that's the evolution I see of the people. So I think that evolution is carrying forward even to today. And by next year, we will see another change because e-invoicing is coming into play, right? E-invoicing is coming. Of course, IQI, I think you all have started 1st July, because of the volume of the transactions. Some companies will start next year, and the rest of the firms have to start by July. So it's another thing for business owners to look at. And if you're a small firm with limited resources, it'll end up with you having to do it all.
Okay, so are we going to end up like Singapore?
So when I...
Are we heading to that direction? You know what's happening in Singapore, right? Singapore, they pay 95, 98%. Their agencies are very few, big agencies. Everybody joins them because their one REA can have 25,000 people. So are we moving in that direction? Not exactly the same, but 3 or 4 or 5 firms will control the entire real estate market.
I feel that the market moving forward, I mean, I could be wrong, right? But I feel that it will be either big firms or small firms. Medium firms will be very pressed, yeah? Because big firms have resources, they have money, they have, they have the collection of resources. Small firms are all right. Their costs are very low. They do their own sales. They have a couple of guys. It's easy to manage firms like that. But when you're middle category, right, you're neither too big nor you're too small. You're actually crushed between the two. Your costs are high, and yet you have to offer the same amount as, the same, packages as some of these bigger guys. So it'd be really, really hard to compete. So I've always kept, my prediction in the future is that we'll end up with, yes, a collection of big firms, but still a lot of little firms. But the mid-sized ones, that we may not see so many of that.
So this is something that is happening, and it's going to further happen in the country. So again, I want to ask the question just to make sure that our audience will go back satisfied. Are we progressing, digressing, or regressing? Profession as a whole.
So I have to have a politically correct answer for
this.
There's
no, politically. As a professional,
I think,
what is your professional view?
I think it's different. I think if we took different angles, we would have any one of these answers.
Okay.
So I would like to take that we are progressing.
Okay.
Because number one, we have different quality of agents and rents entering the market.
Okay.
Seriously. From those days, people used to say real estate, people come into real estate is because they're school dropouts. They can't find anything else to become a real estate person. But today, no more. We have doctors, we have masters holders, we have engineers, we have doctors, we have all kinds of people entering our profession. So I think in a sense, we are progressed in terms of the standing of the quality of people that we have in coming into servicing the real estate business. And the other thing we have progressed is also in the way that we market properties. I mean, seriously, home tours, 360, This is unheard of in the early days, and the buyers and sellers are enjoying it because they say, hey, all this saves me time. I don't have to go to the property all the time. I see it first online. If I like it, I go. So in that sense, we are progressing the way that we do business, right? But of course, if you're talking about enforcement, or you're talking about the amount of compliances that we need to comply with, I think that part of it is putting a burden on us lah.
I didn't want to touch on this, but I think since you brought it up, I thought it'd be good. The legislation that controls on what we do was it was developed way back in 1981, and over the years, we have been there, we have seen it. The changes are so slow. I still remember when I was in the EAPC committee, we proposed changes to the rules. 2014, I think, was submitted. Until today, the rules are not approved. The rules are not approved until today. We have put so much of pressure, but nobody can answer the question. So putting this aside, is the law being changed to meet the needs of the current working environment? Or are we still, it is...
archaic.
I don't use that word, but a lot of people disagree with this. But it's an important question. Our laws still say, example, commission structure is still 40%. You cannot have more than 50 people, and lot more. Okay, so what do you think what things should happen?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing happening.
Yeah, so I think, I definitely agree with that statement that the legislations are not as progressive as the profession. That means we are progressing faster than the legislation is supporting us in that venture. So yes, I do agree that. And also the enforcement. Sometimes we do have legislation, but the lack of enforcement has made some of us the victims of compliances. It's very sad because sometimes the reason why your firm did not make it is because you complied to the rules, whereas everybody was skirting the rules or finding ways around the rules, And that is a sad state, because why should law-abiding citizens be penalized for doing what's right? And the rest, while finding creative ways, have gone beyond. So I think the legislations need to look carefully. They need to analyze and see, are we helping? What was the purpose of our legislation? Who is it supposed to help? What is it supposed to do? And if it's not doing that function of it, then it's time to review, come up with some better legislation and enforcement methods to get that into shape. Because I believe sometimes it's not that we don't want. Or I believe a lot of people tell me it's not that we don't want. Sometimes we feel that the legislation is too old-fashioned, as they would say, not up to the times, or not progressive. Yeah, so I think that bit of it.
I think it also takes a long time before the prosecution. Okay, I'm not putting any blame on anybody, but I think it's a relevant issue. It's happening, and I think there's a lot of frustration among the practitioners. So hopefully something can be done. Maybe the association can do a better presentation to the board to see maybe this is something we should focus and improve on. Okay, I know time's already up.
Wow.
Yeah, 45 minutes up, but I think I can extend a little bit. How is technology affecting all of us?
Oh, definitely. Big way. It's a big way. In the past, you can say that, I don't need any social presence or any online presence at all to make it in real estate, right? I think you still can, if you're only servicing your own limited number of database. But if you want to expand your business, there's no way. If you don't get out there, if people don't know you are in the marketplace, right? I think it's very hard to do business. Because people do business with you because, number one, they know you, right? Number two, they like you. And then they trust you. So if they don't even know you because you're nowhere to be seen, and if they type your name Chan Ai Cheng in the Google, they don't even find you at all, then I think it's a problem. Because nowadays, people love reviews. Before we buy anything on Lazada, right? I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I always like to check what's the points rating. And I want to read what are other people talking about the product I'm about to buy. So if nobody's talking about you like they're talking about the product on Lazada, then I think you have an issue. So technology has taken so far in advance. But real estate is a very different one. We need the high tech plus the high touch. Real estate is
Repeat that again.
A high tech and high touch. Because real estate is not a business you can fully automate online. One. Nobody will buy anything for you just by looking at you online. The contact, the connection, the trust still has to be built. And that can only be built through relationship.
Okay, now I'm going to open up for questioning. Please stick the question to what we are discussing. I know some of you can throw some questions and all that. So probably 2 questions, maybe 3. Quickly, somebody. Any questions to the speaker? Chan Ai Cheng? No.
They're all in shock, is it?
Seriously, no questions? Christopher Chan. Christopher, any questions?
Oh, no, I think it's...
The mic is there. Where is the profession heading? There. The gentleman with the blazer there. Because normally at our AGMs, he asks a lot of questions. Can you please stand up?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm
Good
Christopher
morning.
Chan. I thought I came here just to visit the Exim Tower. I've never come here before. I didn't know I had to ask a question. But anyway, thanks very much, Mr. Soma, and thanks, Ai Cheng, my cousin. Very proud to call her my cousin. But the only one comment I want to make, like you talk about Singapore scenario, Singapore, you have the big firms and the small one. Because in Singapore context, there is no limitation. The sky is the limit. One registered estate agent can have 50 negotiators. Whereas in Malaysia context, prior to 1999, Ai Cheng, like your dad, one license holder, 450 associates. So we can have that. It's only thing that we got shackled in 1999 when we had 20 agents, 2 real estate agent, and later on we fought, and we got 30, but the additional 10 was conditional. Then we fought again, now we got 50. We were free men before, but right now we have 50. So I think that context is not as severe as you see compared with Singapore because of that particular thing. That's what I want to say. Thanks.
You know, I want to carry on that point that my cousin Christopher Chan he raised. You know, my dad always said, he always tell me that salesmanship and leadership is 2 different skills. Doesn't mean a great salesperson becomes a great leader, right? And neither is a great leader a great salesman. It is 2 different skill sets. So my dad always say, sometimes we wonder about the rule of 1 to 50, 1 to 30, 1 to 20 and all these things, right? And my dad always say, leadership ability of a person is not determined by his license or registration. If that is the innate quality and his ability, right? Some people, one person can manage thousands. Some people can manage 10,000. You look at big companies, that one boss can manage the entire company with no issues. But some people can't even manage themselves. So my dad always said that, and I completely agree with him. Doesn't the registration of the E-number doesn't automatically open a window and say that now you are capable of managing all these people. It's a different skill set altogether. Different.
Okay, all right. One more question, last question. Govind, you want to ask?
I think there was...
Who's that? Okay, yeah. No, take the mic. People are listening, it's live, huh? Facebook.
Oh, it's live.
Your name?
My name is Trace, and just a quick question. Throughout your experience, you have seen so many changes happen in terms of technology, and of course, we are expecting artificial intelligence coming in. And what will be the changes we are expecting in terms of when it's coming in, and whether it will be a challenges or opportunity?
Okay, so I like to look at all these technological advancement. We just look at the US. Right? I always look at the US, the way that they do their real estate business. It's like 20 or 30 years ahead of Malaysia. So if we look at US as a trend, the way the US agents are doing business, right, then we can know to what extent we will follow suit in the next couple of years. So I would look at that trend. That means you observe what the US agents are doing, then slowly you'll see our agents are following suit. So as long as they are still leading the pack, we are still following. So luckily, we are not setting the trend. So we let them face all the hurdles first, and then we follow suit. A lot of things actually came from them, A lot of the innovations, even early days, open house. You know, the open house that, is happening all the way. It also came from the US. Yeah. and
Exclusive.
exclusive agency came from the US. A lot of things we have learned from there. So if we want to know whether the business is progressive or we are that how long more we can do this business, are we going to be overtaken by robots and AI? Look at the US. If they have been overtaken by robots and AI, then it's something for us to worry because the next 10, 20 years will be issue. But I don't think that will be the case. I think AI and robots have been so complementary to the way we do business. I can't imagine without ChatGPT, today. I don't know how I used to write all my articles and everything without it.
Yeah. In fact, I have now started to use Gemini. Gemini is a new thing on the phone.
Oh.
By Google, you can ask questions, it will give you all the answer. Can I have questions for this talk? It gave me some 3-4 questions because I didn't like it. But I'm telling you, your handphone, you can answer all your questions. No need to go to Google and search. It searches for you. Gemini, okay? So a lot of things happening. I think there's no more time for a question. We already exceeded. So there are a lot of things happening, but did we answer the question, are we progressing? Yes, we are.
Yes.
In many areas, but maybe as a profession, we are not where we are because we are only 30 years old. I always look at that. We are not 100 years old like maybe in like America. America is 30 years ahead of us. I mean, they're 70 years old already, the way they're doing. They also got illegal brokers, huh? Don't think America don't have, right? Even now today they have. Australia also has. So that one cannot kill them one. They'll all be there. So things are changing. I think one of the most important thing is we need to change. We must make an effort to change. We cannot keep doing what you're doing before. Example, now suddenly I'm doing TikTok. Who the hell thought I'll do TikTok? But luckily I have an environment. I've got people helping me. So you need to go and do this. A lot of us are shy about doing certain things. Like doing a video recording and telling the world about a property. It's quite easy, So I think we need to move forward and get this done. And improve from where we are. I believe it will happen, but don't let the progress of our profession be determined by the outside world. We need to play a part. We need to play a part in it. We need to make all the necessary decisions and all that, okay? So I hope we have answered you the question, or the question. Anyway, this is the first talk. I'm also settling down with all this. I hope it was enjoyable. I'm sorry we didn't arrange any coffee or tea, but next one got. As you all know, many of you are here because we have got a special invitation. The rest are all watching over the Facebook. So next month also we'll do the same thing because we can only take in 30 people. So I'll invite who would be the people to come. Okay, if you're interested, post me a name that you want to come for. Next one is on the 30th of August. My guest is Pravindra Singh. You know who's Praveen, right? He's going to come and share with you about topic on how he navigated and managed the real estate firm and his work as an agent for the last 30 years. That's going to be another exciting topic. If you really want to know how he's a very successful estate agent, if you know his story, he took a private jet, all came picked up from airport, go and see the island and came back and all that stuff. So a lot of good stories you'll have. So next month 30th we'll do this. If you cannot make it, you will then see over the Facebook. Okay, couple of announcements. NRA night tomorrow, National Real Estate Awards night tomorrow. They call it the Juara night. So full house, 1,200 people. Starts at 5 o'clock. So please, MIEA event. Those who already bought a table, please go. Those who have not bought a table, there's no more ticket. Okay. And then next one is, okay, this is important. We challenged Cambodia to bid for this. We had to bid for this, the International Realtors Conference. It happens only once a year. It's rotated. It was held in Japan, Thailand, Korea, Philippines. And we said, hey, MIEA, during Ai Cheng's time, we bid for it. We got it.
Yes.
We got it. We said, you come here, it's going to be a fantastic event. So it is already be organized and it's going to be held on the what date?
6 to 8 September.
26 to 28 of September.
6 to 8.
6 to 8 of September. 6 to 8 of September. So if you're not registered, please register. We need to make sure that it's successful. Okay? So if you remember, I think there's a special rate. So please attend this because all the international realtors will be there, including the National Association of Realtors President and the Board of Directors.
Yes.
So the top echelons of the real estate fraternity will be there. You'll get a lot of exposure. There's also going to be an exhibition. So please go and attend this and make it successful, because it's not MIA event, it's Malaysia's event. So if tomorrow we know the people are malu sikit lah. So support sikit lah. Other association also tolong bagi sambutan lah. Okay? Okay. By the way, I just want to introduce you. We have got a new president of MIEA.
Oh.
AG Kamal. Bangun. Okay? He just got elected, I think 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So he's a new president. Okay? So of course you know Ai Cheng, but we also got the vice president of MIA, Mr. Selvam there. Vice president. Okay? So he is also working very hard to get his IRA going. So thank you very much everybody for attending. I hope you learned a little bit. So I will see you again next month. Okay? Thank you very much. To all those people out there, ciao.